It is really common to lose connection to yourself as you walk through your life journey. It's a crazy, big, loud, intense world out there, and so many of us contort ourselves to fit in and adjust who we are in order to fit in, get by, be successful, stay safe, and we water ourselves down. We can very easily lose sight of and sense of what our authentic self was in the first place. It's actually really common to land in your 40s, 50s, 60s or older and really be saying to yourself, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, if you feel that way, that is actually more common than you might realize. And there's nothing wrong. It's really, really easily resolved. I've just helped someone in the last few weeks completely pivot from I really know who I am to actually fully thriving in who they authentically are. You are not lost. You are still there. But sometimes our true authentic self gets buried because we've tried to just get by in life and do the things we've got to do, and we get distant and disconnected. So in this episode, we're going to get you reconnected really fast.
You're listening to Practical Spirituality with B, the podcast with spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic. I'm Bernadette Logue. You can call me B, and I'm excited to share this episode with you.
So I'm going to give you 3 really simple things that you can do, and they go in this order, okay? I'm going to start with number 1. For how to be your authentic self, you have to start by knowing yourself. It just is a really obvious first step, right? If I want to be my authentic self, who is my authentic self? I need to understand that, because if I have spent time in my life adapting myself, contorting myself, putting myself last, adjusting myself, trying to please other people, right? Trying to fit in, being driven by fears, limiting beliefs, maybe even being driven for success and goals and outcomes and playing a part, a role, an identity that one thinks they need to play in order to be who they want to be, then the authentic self is like lagging behind somewhere, totally not invited to the party, and you end up like, who the heck am I? What people might call a midlife crisis, right? Whether it doesn't matter whether you're what culture you're from, what country you're from, what gender you might identify with, is like, you're a human being. If you get into the middle of your life and you've left parts of yourself behind, it is going to hit home at some point, okay? And so how do we get to know ourselves? It's really important to start to take time alone with yourself. And guess what? Lots of people don't like to do this, because when you get alone with yourself and you sit still, you have to be with the stuff that's inside of you. And if you have discomfort, uncomfortable thoughts, feelings, memories, pains, stuff about yourself or your life that you don't really like, it's not pleasant to sit with yourself because it comes up. So this is a big reason why people never come to know their authentic self, because they won't stop running. They won't stop busying themselves. They won't stop working. They won't stop tending to everybody else. They won't stop with all the, mental stimulation and entertainment long enough to actually listen, to actually feel. And your authentic self is right there if you are willing to be still enough to sense that part of you. But there might be some other stuff that comes to visit when you sit still. So you have to be with that as well. Okay? There's no way around it. The only way is through. You go straight through the middle. So when you can be sitting in silence with yourself, and it can be for 10 minutes, it can be for an hour, it can be any time of the day or night, whenever you can get a little bit of a moment, and you grab a journal and you close your eyes and you go within, you start to ask yourself questions. I love to put a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart. There's something about that that draws out a very authentic, intuitive, soulful response. when you touch those two centers of your body. And you want to ask yourself questions like, who was I before the world taught me who to be? What deeply mattered to me when I was younger? What deeply matters to me now? If I were on my deathbed, what would I be interested in? Right? Let's cut through all the surface level BS noisy stuff that consumes us and get right to the heart of the matter. If I am facing mortality and I am being crystal clear about what matters to me, what is it? You start to ask yourself, what are the great loves of your life? The great loves of your life might be connecting with people, it might be nature, it might be music, art, creativity, reading, cinema, business, it could be any number of things. But we all have these things that interest us, that we're curious about, that our hearts dance for. Can be anything. And things that you think are nothing, that are small and insignificant, are not nothing. Okay, so you ask yourself what your great loves are. You start to notice your quirks, your quirkiness, your curiosities, your inclinations. Who are you when you are alone with yourself? When you are not trying to be somebody or do something for anybody else? Left alone to your own devices without any concern about what others think or what others do or any roles, responsibilities, oaths or obligations. What is that version of you inclined to be and do? You're a really unique being, right? So there's 7 to 8 billion of us on the planet. That's a very large range. I think it's nearing 8 billion. And, you know, we have so many things in common. But each person is like a fingerprint, right? Each person is a very unique makeup. So before you were even born, your soul decided to incarnate. You had a choice, and you made the choice to incarnate and come and have this life experience. And you made a plan for your life, and you made that plan in conjunction with what you belong to, creator, universe, divinity, source, one mind, one consciousness, God, whatever you call that totality of life intelligence that has currently got you here living, that currently beats your heart and breathes you. You made a plan with that, and the personality you are is not by mistake. Your sense of humour is not by mistake. The things you love is not by mistake. Your inclinations, curiosities and passions are not by mistake. All the things that make you you, including your body, your mind, your personality, your traits, your heart center, everything is a very unique combination that is like a fingerprint that is the authentic you. And really, in our life journey, from the moment we're born until adulthood, when we wake up inside the stream of life and we start to become conscious, we're basically conditioned away from our authentic self from day one. And it's not done maliciously and it's not done on purpose, it's just the rite of passage. Because as you grow up, you take on your parents' belief, you take on your grandparents' belief, you take on your ancestral conditioning and lineage and energy vibration. You take on the norms of your educational system, of your culture, of your country. You take on the viewpoints of your friends. You take on beliefs and thoughts and behaviors and actions and activities that you didn't even choose for yourself. And before you know it, you land somewhere in your life in adulthood and you start to sense you might have left some parts of yourself behind. And you can't quite even articulate what it is. In fact, you probably wouldn't even say it that way. You just know that there's something quite not right and you can't put your finger on it. And I used to say, the way I described it for myself, is I was seeking answers, but I didn't know what the questions were. And it's a very confusing thing. But you can just imagine if you are a unique fingerprint of a being when you're born in this beautiful makeup of your authentic self, and then you go through conditioning before you're old enough to know any better, and you've lost parts of yourself and left them behind, then of course at some point in your life you're going to start going, I wonder who I am and I wonder who my authentic self is, and something doesn't feel quite right. And I would love to regather, reclaim all the lost parts of myself. So this first step is get to know yourself. Who am I? from an existential point of view, you are a soul having a life journey, right? That's my main message to you, is you are a soul on an 11-stage life journey, what I call your soul odyssey. You have a soul plan and purpose. Your life is to come home to who you really are, to wake up to the truth, and to live your plan and purpose fully. P.S. footnote, if you want to do that, come over to my website, BernadetteLogue.com, Bernadette Logue, Logue.com. Click program on the menu and come and join me in the Soul Odyssey program, and I will walk you through everything from A to Z to have you aligned with your soul and living your purpose fully at every level of your being. You will absolutely be your authentic self when you do that with me. The second step in how to be your authentic self is, once you know who you are and you know this beautiful being that you were born to be, then your job is to stop doing all the stuff that is not aligned to that. And that means stuff like stop pleasing other people when you really don't want to do it and you're just doing it to appease other people or to address your own fears. Stop self-adapting and downplaying yourself. Stop watering yourself down. Stop hiding your voice. Stop playing small. Stop being in the shadows. Stop saying yes when you really mean no. Stop saying no when you really mean yes. Stop suppressing yourself. Stop going against the grain of who you really are and what you really want out of fear and limiting beliefs. Set boundaries, make good choices, and guess what? Footnote to all of this. Here's what's really interesting. When you stop pleasing people, self-adapting, trying to fit in, having no boundaries, and you stop saying yes when you mean no, etc., etc., the hilarious thing is no one really cares. Like, we think that people are going to be terribly upset and it's all going to come back on us, and it's easier just to stay small and don't put your neck out and don't be your true self, and you can't do that. But in reality, I mean, there might be a few feathers ruffled for a little bit because they're confused about you being a powerful person all of a sudden. But in reality, like, so many times I've coached people on this and they just start being true to themselves, and it's like, oh, nobody cares. Yeah, that's right, because everybody's too consumed with their own stuff. And your life is just so much more flowing when you set boundaries, right? And you be true to you. But step one, know who you are so you can be true to it. Step two, stop doing all the stuff that goes against the grain of your authentic self. And that is how you be the authentic self, is you be true to it in your words, deeds, actions, behavior. And then really simply, the third and final step is this. Once you know your true self and you stop doing all the stuff that isn't aligned, number 3, start living in alignment actively with your authentic self. No one is going to come and do it for you. No one's going to come and save you. Life isn't going to miraculously just serve your authentic, amazing, soul-aligned life to you on a platter. Why? Because it does not serve your evolution for you to receive it that way. Your soul and life force, source, God, creator, divinity, is invested in you evolving. You chose to come for a lifetime to learn, heal, grow, contribute, evolve, to live your soul plan and purpose. And the only way you can do all of that is if you stand up. If you get up and get into your life and be the person that you were born to be and do the things that you came here to do, not to have it arrive on your plate miraculously and you just look at it and go, da-da! Right? Yes, we can manifest things. Yes, we can do that. But no one is going to be able to come and do this for you. And the thing is that you have to start with giving yourself permission, because this is really common for people that are really into conscious living, people that are empathetic, kind, spiritually aligned, is that they just, for some reason, we, me in the day, don't give ourselves permission. Other things are more important. Other people are more important. I'll get to that eventually. We make up reasons. When this happens, then I'll do it. When my partner's done sorted that goal, then I'll have my time. When the kids are older, then I'll do that. Guess what? Life is not forever. Guess what? There is no guarantee on your tomorrow. Cold and hard and true, right? There isn't. Anyone who's lost anyone knows that truth. So you really have to ask yourself, when will I start living aligned to my authentic self? When will I start making the choices and taking the actions that are true to my heart of what I know I need? When will I listen to my soul speaking to me? Right? Your soul is constantly calling you into alignment through your passions, your inspirations, your intuition. But you have free will. You have free will, so you can say yes or you can say no. And this third step is saying yes to yourself. It's saying yes to choices, actions, speaking up, doing the things that are right for you, making adjustments and alignment in your daily life. What you do, where you go, who you're with, what you give your energy to, what your goals are. And all of this requires what? It requires overcoming yourself. It requires you to evolve as a human being to overcome your stuff. The stuff being limiting beliefs, fears, limitations on your consciousness that keep you trapped in a box, emotions that have not been processed and dealt with that are reverberating inside of you and keeping you stuck, feeling not good enough, feeling not worthy, feeling afraid, feeling anxious. And this whole thing, everything I've described since the beginning of this episode till now, is your soul journey playing out like a fiddle, because you came to learn, heal, and grow, i.e. overcome yourself. You came to contribute, i.e. be your authentic self. And all of this is deeply connected and nothing is random. What you struggle with is by no mistake. What you yearn for is by no mistake. And as you try to overcome yourself, to go towards your goals, dreams, and aspirations, to be your authentic self, you will have massive breakthroughs, and it will feed your authentic self. It will expand you. It will feed your contribution and your purpose in life. And vice versa, if you attempt to go out there and be your authentic self and do the things that matter to you, and you start moving outside your comfort zone, guaranteed it's going to bring up your stuff. It's going to bring up the things inside of you that you need to learn from, heal from, grow through, because that is the design of the soul journey that we're on. So I hope this has been helpful. If this episode has resonated with you, then Soul Odyssey, the program, is definitely for you, okay? It takes you from A to Z, from your pre-birth planning before you were born, all the way through to your transition at the end of your life and the invitation from your soul, what your soul is asking of you in this lifetime, for you to have a life of purpose, fulfillment, and magic. If you want to find out more, you can come over to Bernadette Logue, Logue.com. You'll find all the details there. In that program, we go through who you are, why you're here, aligning your consciousness to your soul, healing your mindset, putting in service of your soul, clearing your difficult emotions, setting you up to live a soul-aligned life, setting soul-aligned goals, making soulful decisions, intuitive decision-making, and so much more. I'd love to have you in that. It's been a pleasure to share this episode with you, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon.
Thanks for listening to Practical Spirituality with B. I'll talk to you next episode for more spiritual advice for your everyday life, helping you align with your soul so you can live with purpose, fulfillment, and magic.